E nisso surgiu a Blonde Edition, né? E ele deu preferência para a Blonde Edition, pela coisa certa, era tudo andando, e ela é muito dinâmica, e ela foi. E no final das contas foi muito melhor, porque, tão óbvio pra gente, mas também porque ela, o Whitney acabou fazendo só 3 semanas no Japão só, enquanto a Madonna fez no mundo inteiro e resultou em Girl Show, resultou em filme.
A gente vai ter pergunta daqui a pouquinho, tá? Carlton, Vogue Video was choreographed by Carla Arminda. Is that
Carla Arminda?
Yeah. So she made the choreographies, but you as a dancer, did you contribute?
So let's back up. Carol came in and was initially cast to do the Vogue video, and she was fired a short time after that. Yeah, so the choreography in the Vogue video was not Carol Arminda's work at all. The Vogue video was choreographed by Jose and Luis.
Yeah, because
the
they
two
are from
vocals.
House of Strike.
Exactly. Yeah, and she knew them from before and knew about their dance style. They were the first two cast for the Blonde Edition tour because she knew that they could bring this extra sort of niche thing that she wanted to do. So
that's what I saw the Paris is morning.
No, she hung out with the Extravaganzas and knew Jose and Luis directly. They were friends and partied together in New York. So that's how that came about. But, you know, inside of their choreography and, you know, there were some parts of it that were improvised and, you know, each dancer sort of had their section. Like, you'll be walking across here. And in those moments, you definitely are given the free rein to do your own thing. And when you work at that level, the directors and the artists also expect you to. You know, a lot of the careers for people, again, when you're playing there, the producers and the directors want you to be as much of a visionary, you know, and because a lot of times they don't really know what they want, but they'll have some ideas unless they've storyboarded everything. So it's always been a great process for me. And it's also kind of a demand for me in my career at this point that I have to have a voice in what I do, just period. You know, I'm not a dancer that's just for hire and will just be told to go over here and do that, and an actor who will only do that. That's not how I get down, and most people know that now, so, yeah.
Let me just ask you something.
Yes.
Do we notice something in the Express Herself presentation VMA that she used some of both moves?
Say that one more time?
VMA,
Yeah.
89, she used some of the bold moves in the Express Herself presentation.
Okay.
So that was, she got interested in the voguing.
I don't really know that timeline very well.
Because it was so part of the whole choreography.
Got
That's
it.
why I had to ask.
What year was that?
1989.
So then we were just about to go up.
September.
Okay, well then, yeah, so then she was
she
probably
with
just...
Donna and Nikki,
Okay.
and in the middle they started doing.
So then that was right at his time
yes,
for
that
making the Vogue thing sort of public. Yeah.
So that was, a lot of the movements were from that, from the Vogue.
I didn't see it, so I can't make comment on how much, but if that's what you're telling me, then I'll say, okay.
Because she got this from the clubs, New York clubs.
Yes.
The vocal
That's
was
exactly.
the movement.
So she
yeah.
included it in Express.
Traduz pra gente essa historinha.
I'm sorry. Nós estávamos perguntando sobre, começamos a falar sobre a Carol.
É porque ele já jogou lá, ele já pegou.
Sobre se ela ajudou na coreografia e ela foi
demitida no início.
Logo no início.
E que a coreografia do clipe de Vogue é do José e Luiz, que são da House of Extravaganza.
Esse
E o outro que
já conhecia
Isso.
de ser amiga, de ferver nas festas com eles e tal, e ela se apaixonou pelo Vogue e quis colocar isso num clipe, e claro, isso aí estourou para o mundo inteiro, porque era uma coisa bem da cena de Nova York, né, então...
E eu aproveitei para perguntar, depois eu perguntei sobre a apresentação dela no VMA em 89, ela...
90, né?
89.
De
Express Social.
Tá.
Ela no meio, ela faz... Ela,
um pouco,
ela faz...
Não precisava fazer.
Que são quadros de Vogue.
Faz de
Porque
novo,
tá
faz
se
de novo,
controlando.
faz de novo.
Me controlando como um fã, ele tá pra fazer. Não, mas aí eu
Pode
falei
fazer,
com
vai.
Pode fazer, vai E folk é muito. Folk, essa dança vem da comunidade gay de Nova York. Muito antes e ela só captou.
Ela pegou, colocou isso ali, depois ela quis fazer no clipe, onde ela usou todos esses papos, que era uma coisa undergroundzinha do meio gay, das coisas de Vogue, da revista Vogue.
E trouxe pro mundo. Tinha campeonato. Paris is Burning.
Ainda tem.
Ainda é fortíssimo.
What do you remember about the Vogue performance in VMA, during VMA, MTV? With all that clothes, that visual, that look?
I think just that that was one of those moments where we knew we were going to blow a thing up. And that was just really fun. Knowing that we had like original costumes from major films, and especially back then, no one had really done anything so elaborate as a MTV performance, and it was just, we were just like team ready for battle. And
That was
it was fun.
unexpected.
It was fun.
How long did you rehearse for this performance? Do you remember?
Well, we didn't have to rehearse that long because again, most of the choreography was from the tour. So it was just
It
a matter
was
of,
after the tour.
correct.
In September, I think.
Yes. Really, like I don't know September. Really, dude? Damn.
Só vocês sabem
At 7:30 on Tuesday.
Rodolfo, pode pegar ele pra trás.
Only the big fans know the
And
things.
there's one thing that amazed me, that you were the one that could easily lift her up.
Yeah.
Okay, that was.
That's my question after that. That's a detail about that.
Okay. I can't say anything. Okay. Just thinking.
Who's narrating this? Hold on. Go ahead.
Que tava falando sobre a parte de.
É o lado fã.
Essa apresentação de Vogue no VMA, quanto tempo que demorou? Ele falou que já, como era partes parecido com o Blonde Ambition, foi pouco tempo, mas foi muito interessante fazer esses figurinos que são de filmes, né? E eles sabiam que ia ser uma coisa que ia ser muito falada, ia ter muita exposição.
Mas nessa hora, quando com a reação das pessoas, que ele viu que realmente aquilo explodiu. Foi realmente muito. E eu perguntei sobre o fato dele poder carregá-la sem facilidade, uma coisa que a gente vai ver agora.
Daqui a pouco.
Queria perguntar quantas vezes vocês viram Blonde Ambition? Você, Rodolfo?
Não sei.
Vicky?
Do you feel the difference about the audience in the United States, Europe, Asia, and South America?
Oh, sure, it's different. Americans tend to be, especially for like that kind of like huge crazy show, they're much more respectful of the stage and the audience. Once you start traveling overseas, there's bottles and shit and stuff on the catwalk, like literally, like you're in the middle of performing and they just are throwing things at you, but that also makes it kind of exciting. It is a little bit fun to have some stuff go down. It's like everybody gotta like think quick on their feet, like how do you move that thing, or it's getting slippery, what are you gonna do? It's fun.
And Brazil is the best.
Yeah.
No, crazy.
What are your memories from Brazil from the first time you were here with the girls' show?
Really?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
Did you party? Did you went to
No, dude, I was here to
Just
work.
for
I
I had no time.
was
but people scream.
Traduz essa parte.
Nós perguntamos sobre como foi a experiência dele aqui no Glory Show, vindo para o Brasil. Tudo, ele disse que só trabalhou, foi trabalho, não teve tempo para sair, fazer nada, só que não. E que ele gostou muito, que as pessoas são muito cheias de vida.
Calorosas.
No,
Queridas.
but in all truth on that, it is fairly the truth. I was not in the position to do a lot of partying because I was her guy, you know, and I just was thinking, you know, and now me and the guys can kind of laugh about it, but I was very bothered by them for most of the tour, and I realized later that it was because I was resentful, because they got to have a looser role in the show, so they could go out and party till 5 and be hungover and still do their thing. I couldn't risk that with the multi-million-dollar thing at the top of my head. You know, I wasn't trying to be wobbly or nothing. You know?
That's why.
So yeah, so I honestly did not do
That.
What is that?
How easy could you do that? It's amazing. Every time I say that.
Okay, so bring that down for a second. So that lift that I did with her, I learned in Chicago doing the Nutcracker.
Really?
In the section called Arabian. And in the Nutcracker, it's a duet. And so I had this lift that I knew that I could do, and then I just brought it to her and put it on this show, and it looks like it's a whole
So you have to grab Madonna's ass and lift.
As well, so
What's that?
her back as well there, and also in the show.
Sure.
Yeah. Here,
That
look
was
at
like
it.
the guys.
That's my job.
That's why he didn't go out.
That's your show.
Yeah.
You're the only guy that she trusted.
In the history of her career.
A gente estava falando sobre
Por isso que ele não foi pra boates.
porque ele não sei, ele realmente não podia, porque ele tinha que estar preparado, porque ele estava com ela,
Filmando
né? Não podia
Yeah,
segurá-la, levantá-la e tudo, ele tinha aquela missão, não podia sair do controle. E
Ele aprendeu isso no Quebra-Nozes em Chicago, que tem esse movimento no bloco arabesco que é de levantar, e ele trouxe isso para as turnês da Madonna. Aí eu perguntei se ela tinha que confiar, né? O único cara que ela confiava, ele falou, absolutamente, é isso aí mesmo.
falou que era
E nenhum outro fez dessa maneira, né?
Quem é a tradução para isso, né?
But I'll tell you one thing though. I'll tell you one thing that was interesting about the lifting sections when we did the Blonde Ambition tour. Because she's so accustomed to being in control, when we were literally building the lift, if I didn't do the lift so that she felt like she was telling me how to do the lift, she wasn't safe. So I had to, me and the director, Vince Patterson, had to kind of lay back and let her go, oh, can you make sure you something, oh, okay, Madonna, that's good. As if it was the first time, and we'd already talked about it and planned to do it that way. But literally, that was a real strategy. She was not comfortable being managed unless she felt like she directed you to do it. Which I get it, you know, but it was just an interesting process.
You have to do it, but pretend that she could follow her order.
Exactly.
Like we used to do with our bosses.
Estamos falando sobre o levantar a Madonna, né? E ela, como ela é muito assim, controladora, assim, tem que estar tudo perfeito, eles usavam uma estratégia, ele com o diretor, de que tudo que ela estava falando, tá bom, vamos fazer assim. Só que já tinha tudo preparado, tinha o jeito deles, e eles só falavam assim, concordavam para deixar ela à vontade, achando que ela estava dando as diretrizes. Entendeu? Ela estava seguindo as suas ordens, só do jeito que você quer. Só que o jeito era aquele, tinha que ser feito.
O que a gente faz na nossa carreira
During London Vision Tour, Madonna and Creel were filming the backstage for a documentary. Did you know that it will be a documentary or just an extra for the DVD or not?
No,
It will be a movie for theaters. And how did you feel, like uncomfortable, or was it okay for you to have cameras?
Again,
Yeah.
again, for me it was slightly different because I'd already had a full career and worked with cameras and
Yeah.
done all that with Hubbard Street and the other companies I worked with. So for me, I already knew the game, which is if you don't want it shown, don't do it on camera. Because a lot of the guys were, trying to rely on, oh, I'll just do it and they'll edit it out. And I already know that a lot of times they don't do that. So I had no issue being seen because I'll just show you what I want you to see. And it's okay.
You use it as an opportunity to show what you want. That.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, so the rest is gravy for me.
Yes. Então, tá falando sobre o uso da câmera, como ele se sentia confortável por ele ter um histórico de mais experiência até em frente às câmeras, e para ele era mais fácil. E ajuda em você a fazer muita coisa.
Sim, você deixa ser filmado aquilo que você quer realmente fazer.
Ele tinha, em diferença com os outros dançarinos, ele tinha mais essa experiência, então ele usou isso até para mostrar as coisas que ele queria, né? Ele estava no controle.
Well, and then the other part to that, honestly, is like we're also performers and artists.
Yeah.
So what comes with that is a bit of narcissism anyway. So you kind of like that
Yeah, sure.
somebody's following you around and there's a lot of attention on you, and so it had a balance. Yeah.
Vem muito narcisismo, né? Como ele já tinha essa experiência, para ele era muito mais fácil controlar isso. Os outros queriam aparecer, então aquela ânsia de aparecer, você acaba perdendo a oportunidade, fazendo uma besteira. E ele já estava com vontade, mas é uma coisa normal, você querer estar no
And during Truth or Dare, when we see the film, we have a sensation of a feeling that you were kind of a family because you spend a lot of time together. So,
Bullshit! Sorry. Go ahead.
I know it was not a bad approach at all, but in a way, you have fun.
Yeah, I mean, listen, yes, we definitely had fun. This whole sort of family thing that yeah, I mean, I can't say that I felt like that. I was very aware that I was doing a job, I'm meeting these people, I'm working with this woman, I'll get another job. So honestly, it was not all that fun. I think, again, for the younger performers that didn't really have an identity in regards to who they were yet, or where they could make their mark in the industry, it was an easy way for them to latch onto something. And, it was also a very strategic branding thing for her, that she could coin it as the family, and then that means that she's the matriarch, and then she's the power figure, and, so, and that's fine. I mean, I know what the game is, and so that's what that was, but it didn't really move like a family to me, so, yeah.
Tá falando sobre a dinâmica dos dançarinos, que no filme, no Madonna, parece que é uma família, mas na verdade era bem assim, tinha momentos que eles se davam bem, se interagiam, mas nem sempre era assim.
E que para os mais jovens ele se sentia um pouco mais assim, mas para o Carlton ele como era um profissional, era contratado, era um trabalho, mas ele entendia que fazia parte da estratégia da Madonna também se vender como uma mãezona, com a matriarca,
Aí vem tá na frente, mostra como a chefe dando as diretrizes, sempre assim.
Leonina, né?
And one of the chunks of elements that played into that, just for where I was with myself and my own sexuality at the time, because I've been fairly fluid sexually most of my life, and back then I was definitely with men and women, and you know, a lot of the guys on the tour were extra flamboyant for me at the time. I was still somewhat homophobic. So I was active, but I also didn't want to be coined as that, and you know, I always had my identity as a dude, and that's how I like to be. So I couldn't relate to a lot of them. And we've talked about it since, you know, I really spent no time with the guys other than what you saw on camera when we had camera setups, because they weren't my kind of people. You know, I didn't come from a huge flamboyant gay community. That really was never my tribe.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I hung out with the singers or with the people on the crew. Like, really, that's what my role was. And again, with Strike a Pose coming back around and getting to see the guys and made me realize that I had an affection for them much bigger than I ever had given
Realized
credit
that
to.
time.
Yeah, yeah. So it's nice, and you know, I can be honest, and we're honest with each other about where we were then and where we are now.
Estou curiosa para saber como vão traduzir flamboyant.
Ele disse que ele não tinha uma relação muito próxima dos outros, porque ele era mais na dele, mais reservado, e os outros eram muito assim, mais afeminados, gostavam de. Tô louca, uma coisa assim, tipo. Não, não era, né? Tá bom. E não era bem a cara dele, né? mais na dele, mais. O jeito dele mesmo, até as amizades dele não eram.
Ele andava até muito mais com as backing vocals, com o pessoal da banda, do que com os próprios outros dançarinos o tempo todo. Não era
o grupo dele que ele estava acostumado a roda de amigos, ele eram mais reservados também, era mais na dele. E essa diferença de atitude, de postura, acabava afastando ele do resto do grupo.
Mas aí depois, quando Strike a Pose, ele acabou vendo que
o encontro mais tarde, que ele tinha um carinho muito grande, uma atenção muito grande por ele, apesar desse problema, desse afastamento na época.
Vai, André, bota o vídeo. There's a video here. Just a small part. Got play.
Explica para as pessoas quem é essa.
A mãe dele?
Não, a mãe do Carlton. Aí ele vai apresentar ela para a Madonna, ela queria tirar uma foto, o Carlton faz a jogada. So Carlton, which memories do you have of this day with your mother? Went to the backstage to...
Profound moment for me. My mom, Johnny May is her name. She was a model in Chicago on a regional level, and I've always said she truly was like Whitney Houston, in that she was very poised and knew how to sit the right way, but she would curse you out and was trailer, gutter, mouth. So when this moment came, again, we're waiting backstage. I know Emma's going to come out at some point. And as soon as the door opens and my mom goes, oh, there she is. And I watched my mom become the competition. And she got long, and she pulled, and she did this. But it was this level up of my mom that was like, oh my God. It was like, wow. But they were really cool together. But that was a real way that I'd never seen my mom. You know, like, who's going to piss who? I don't know. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Estamos falando sobre o encontro da mãe dele com a Madonna. Que a mãe dele foi uma modelo, né? E ela era muito posuda e ela era considerada como a Whitney Houston. Né? Aquela postura toda. Mas quando pisavam no carro dela, ela xingava de nomes que você nunca ouviu falar, entendeu? Então, pesado. Mas que quando elas se encontraram, quando houve esse encontro com a Madonna, foi uma coisa assim que ele ficou assim assustado, porque ela chegou muito posuda e tipo, ela estava de igual para igual. Então, foi uma coisa assim, tipo, quem vai fica todo mundo quem. Tem que baixar a bola porque, não, quem é a rainha aqui? Uma competição. Mas uma coisa muito importante, um momento único.
When this movie went to the theaters, what did people say to you? Oh, you were in the movie. What people's reaction in the street? What happened?
Well, when the movie premiered, I was not in the U.S. I was working with a company in Bangkok. And so they had the world premiere. Everybody went to it, the whole rare. So I missed a lot of the initial rah, 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 rah. But, you know, I was honestly the most excited for my mom. You know, because she got to do this scene, so when the movie came out, her girlfriends took her out to brunch, and they all went for a screening, and she was going to be in a big movie.
Wow.
So I was more excited about her thing. I mean, we were already getting attention, so it didn't matter. It was fine. But that's what I sort of hold on to with that my mom got to have her. Yeah.
Quando o filme saiu, ele estava em Bangkok, num outro projeto. Ele não teve oportunidade de ir na premiere, de ver. E a mãe dele viu primeiro, né? E as amigas fizeram, nossa, você está você está no cinema, você é uma estrela de cinema. E teve aquela raparigação toda. E foi um momento para ela. E foi muito feliz porque esse foi o momento dela, que ela sentiu o momento dela brilhar.
And now we have a message for you in video. Yeah.
Hello everybody. Hi Carlton, I'm very happy talking to you. I would like to say I love to work with you in many special moments. You are such a gentleman. I want to know one thing. Do you believe in love? Oops, I mean, if you had to choose one unforgettable performance, TV presentation, or music video, we work together. What do you choose?